members that you're going to read as well. So let's have our first one out here. Come on out. Hi, how are you? Nice
We'd like to do this live, which is what makes it so much fun.
Sure, have a seat. What's your name?
I'm Marianne.
Hi, I'm sorry. Hi, Marianne. How are you? So, Barbara, take a look at Marianne's face.
Well, to start with, and okay, to start with, and I'll ask you if these things are accurate. She has very fine brows and a lack of a philtrum, which is this line underneath between the nose and the mouth. This is someone who has a very fine nervous system, and that shows up in your hair, which could mean when you get overwhelmed, you might have digestive problems, or your nervous system is just very fine-tuned. Is that accurate?
Absolutely.
Okay. And also there's a break in the nose, and this is age 36, and you are
36.
And this means major life change related to your family.
That is incredible.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, I was adopted, and I'm just meeting my biological father and my siblings.
It usually indicates some major life change. Your life will go in a completely different direction after this.
That's pretty amazing.
And this line also shows me this. She has one line coming up straight from the forehead, like Winston Churchill, and this is, spiritually, I go in a completely different direction than the rest of my family. Is that true for you?
Yeah, it says that, definitely.
And may I touch your hair again? As you look at the ear, you check it out on the other part of the face, because you read the face as a whole, and if you turn your head, it shows me this particular ear turns back on itself right here, and this is someone who will be interested in New Age. It could be Tai Chi, herbs, 12-step work, meditation. Do you do any of those?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
What do you do, Marianne? What do you do?
This ear shape.
Well, I am involved in 12-step programs.
That is incredible. Well, thank you so much, Marianne, for having your face read.
Shannon, have a seat. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay, to start with, pull your hair back if you could, Shannon.
Okay.
Okay, this is mother's influence. Was your mother a big influence for you?
Yes, definitely.
Whenever you see the wispiness on the side, this means mother's influence was big. Also, you have large front teeth, which I also have, which is a little stubborn.
Being able to read someone's face would be a great skill to have if you're playing poker, or to find out if your boss is lying to you.
Or knowing if your date is lying to you about other girlfriends.
So grab your mirror and a face, and we're going to talk to face reading expert Barbara Roberts.
Hi, thank you.
What's the first thing you look at?
You look at the first 5 features, Doug, that come out at you in someone's face, which would be your eye color and your forehead, different things. So what comes to you is what you see, and then you interpret that with the psychological meanings.
We decided to put Barbara to the test.
You have the mustache type that indicates that you might be gruff on the outside, but you're really a marshmallow.
How true is that?
Oh, is that true? Totally true.
So you also have a gum line above your teeth in here, and this indicates why you have the same. It indicates that people swing with money, which means you budget and then you spend, and you budget and you spend. Do you do that?
All the time.
Are you doing it now?
Robert says face reading is a science. Some 2,000 years.
Thank you. One more question I got to ask. The corporations hire you to do this, don't they? That's very interesting to me. That corporations hire her, and so that they will know, what do they want to know in the hiring?
They want to know how employees can get along better, you know, when there are disputes in management, how to work them out. You can look at a staff meeting across the room at someone in high-level management and see what their style is, you know, how to work with them best.
Now, your book is national, right?
It's national.
Face
and
readings.
You can look at it on the internet.
Thank you for coming on.
That's really great. Thank you.
Dating on the internet. It can be risky, you know, with so many pictures out on the web. Can you really tell just by looking at a person's face if they're potentially dangerous? Renowned face reader Barbara Roberts says, yes, you can. She's been reading faces for 20 years, and today she's sharing some of her skills to help you weed out the bad guys on the web. Welcome.
Thank you.
You know, we should talk a little bit about your background, because you're one of only a handful of expert face readers in the country. The government has utilized your expertise after 9/11. The Federal Aviation Administration asked for your help. Tell us how that worked.
They wanted me to look at terrorists and people who had patterns of dangerous facial features. So the FBI in Washington downloaded photos to me, and then I combined them, Sandra, with
criminals, World War II spies, and I tried to see patterns. And this is what I want to do to help women and men date on the internet, is there patterns of dangerous facial features that show in people's faces.
All right, well, let's talk about and look at some of these faces.
Okay.
We have a first one to show you, and you've seen this face before. This is Mira Hindley. Tell us about this face and her history.
Sure. One of the facial features you're looking for that is common, actually 40% of terrorists have this, is when the eyes have white underneath them. This is not a good sign. It's a sign that the person emotionally is not stable at that time.
The eyeballs.
The eyeballs. And of course, it's when you're on eye level to the person, not when they're looking up.
Instability.
Instability emotionally, but you also, keep in mind, you want to look at the whole face. You can't look at just one feature. And she has 6 parts of her face that show she's unstable. That's
she
one.
was a serial killer, so.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, not a good thing.
Not a good date match for men on the internet.
Right. So face reading is a 2,000-year-old Oriental science that looks at specific facial features, applying to each a psychological meaning.
And since our face is the first thing that people judge us by, who doesn't want to know about what their face says about their personality? Certified face reader Barbara Roberts is here to do just that, to read our faces. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning. Thank you for having me back on.
Well, what is this exactly, and how did you get into face reading of all things?
I was working at UCSD. My background's in clinical medical research. I was the winner of the Hewing Medical Award for Research with 7 doctors. And I was looking for a system, Andrea, of understanding character that was accurate, repeatable, and scientific. And
when I first met Barbara, she looked at me and she said, "Did you leave home at an early age and kind of spend a lot of time alone?" And I said, "How did you know?" And you see this vertical line here? It's called...
Well, it's actually, Winston Churchill has this line, so you're in good company. And this is a line for someone who's a pioneer, and they go in a completely different direction than the rest of their family. They just shoot out.
And the weirdest thing was she knew that I was slightly dyslexic, which is the weirdest thing, because I have these little ridges on the inside.
Because you didn't, of the upper rim of the ear.
And she wanted to put it very nicely, you know. So how was it you said it? You said, "Do you have a slight learning disability?"
Something like that.
And I couldn't believe that you could tell that. In these tough economic times, wouldn't it be nice to have the inside track with your boss, or maybe teacher, to know what they're really like? Or what if you're interviewing for a job? It'd be handy to know what kind of a person you'll be working for and whether you'd want to in the first place. Barbara Roberts is an expert in the ancient Chinese science of face reading. She conducts personal consultations and also teaches face reading classes on a regular basis in San Diego. Barbara joins us once again this morning with some on how to read the boss's face. It's kind of interesting. What does face reading have to do with business?
Well, there are 3 applications, Laura. The first one is if you're looking for a job, there are certain jobs that will fit your face because the face is reflective of our mental tendencies and our emotional life. Certain occupations will not fit your face. Also, in the area of investments, I had a woman come about 6 months ago who was making a $50,000 investment. She showed me the prospectus and the CEOs in the company, and I could tell her how they would manage her money and gave her some specific advice about how to invest, which was not to invest in the company, and the company folded. And then the last application, I did this last week for a San Diego corporation. At high-level negotiations and litigation, I was called in as a labor team, and there was $1 million at stake, and they asked me to go in and see how all the business people would interface based on their faces, how far someone would negotiate, how honest they were, how straightforward, and what would be the best approach in an ethical way to do with this particular person. And face reading can tell you that in business.
One thing about face reading, can you tell a lot at a very early age?
Yes, you can tell what the person is working out, what their temperament will be like at an early age, and then what they become from that, of course, is environment and their own character as it develops. But you can see inclinations at an early age, yes.
Your facial features reveal so much about your compatibility prospects with a potential mate. Joining us this morning to tell you what to look for is Barbara Roberts, an expert in the ancient Chinese practice of face reading who now teaches classes, consults with business corporations, and conducts private face reading sessions. Good morning, welcome back.
Good morning, hi.
I like this one. What can we learn from face reading about compatibility in a mate?
Well, we come in looking a certain way. Our hair color, our eye color is our mental ability. Cheek structure has a lot to do with our feeling range. Our lips are how we relate in relationships. Jaw structure is our willpower. Nose is our financial abundance ability. And people who look like us, who come in looking like us, often think like us, behave like us. So we're more compatible with them. Our natural range of behavior is closer to theirs.